Well, I've always wanted to be an architect. And since 6 years old, I've been doing house plans and things. So I knew as long as I ever thought about what I might do, I wanted to be an architect. So I really have never thought about it. I guess, also wanted to be a business person, and I really love the business side as well as the design side. So I kind of have had a chance to do both. I've certainly done a lot of design work and a lot of building a practice, but I've learned a lot about business and learned it from our clients, which has been a great education for me, and hopefully I've been able to pass it on to our partners and employees. Maybe I tease about this, but my wife was the office manager and the secretary and the accountant, and all when we started we had a couple $100 is all we had, and we had one draftsman. Andrew did that for quite a while, and then I found that it wasn't really good to have husbands and wives work together. And she never liked that, but she ended up being on our board and very helpful and is very much involved with the firm. And we now have husbands and wives working together in the firm. But I think there was a time when I remember one specific couple that I said, they were moving back from Phoenix to San Francisco, and I said, you'd be better off if one of you worked for the firm and one of you didn't, and then you'd be happier and you'd be more interesting because you wouldn't just spend your time talking about Gensler. And so I learned that, let people do and work where they want to work, and it'll work out just fine. I don't think of myself, again, I don't look back and say what would I do differently, because I can't change it. And so I don't think that way. I don't think about what mistakes I've done. I certainly try and learn from things, and I suppose one other mistake that I made that I don't do anymore, and we have an example coming up right now where there was a project that I wanted to do, and there was a competing project that was offered to me, and I said, I don't think I'll take that one or go for that one. I'll work on the other one because I want to do that one. And then I didn't get the other one, so I didn't have either one of them. And I'm learning that when there's a bird in the hand, take it. Well, I read a lot now. I mean, at this stage of my life, I really love to read, and I read a lot of different things. I have a very good friend who reads a mystery book a day. He's retired, and he just plows through, and he posts a blog when he gives them ratings. So his highest rating ones I read, but then I'll read. I just finished Boys in the Boat, which I just absolutely love as a book, because my son and my daughter-in-law were both outstanding crew people at Dartmouth, and competed for the Olympic team, so there was a lot of synergy between the two. And then I just finished a book on Islam and the study of Islam, and I'm reading a book right now on the history of the phone company and how the hackers got in there and invented how to cheat the phone company out of paying bills and stuff. But I kind of am all over the lot, but I like to read, so I always, and every night I read. I watch a football game or a baseball game or a basketball game while I'm doing it, but I read, and I take home 50 magazines a month, and I go through every one of them page by page, because I never know what I'm looking for. And people say, why don't you have people read for you? But I said, I don't know what I want to find, and I don't. And so I'll mark on the cover, copy page this, and this, and to keep it moving and circulate, because we get a lot of magazines here, but I don't want to be the one that holds them up, and if I can't read the article, then I'll read it when I'm on a plane or something. So, and then I circulate a lot of them to other people who I think would have a value. Maybe not. Maybe in the end I wouldn't have any interest in, but I know somebody else would. And whether it's about hospitality, it's a specific picture. It may be a picture. It may be an ad. It may be an article. I just never know what I'm looking for. So I enjoy that, and I do it every night. And then, so half of my reading's like that, and half of it's novels and fiction and nonfiction, and then a lot of business books. I still read a lot of business books because we're a big business, but I love the process of the business and the complexities. And as we're doing international stuff and we were in 90 countries last year. How do you handle that? And there's some good information out there if you look for it a little carefully. I like doing things that people use. That you can see in a funny way, your success or failure in what you've designed. I think it's interesting and intriguing that where a workplace we think people are more productive, or airports you get them through more efficiently. But in hospitality project, do the people come and rent the rooms and buy the food and do that? Now obviously in a restaurant the food has a heck of a lot to do with it, but the ambience and the atmosphere is equally as important and powerful. And I think the same in a hotel. It's important and powerful, and each hotel category, whether it's a resort or it's a themed hotel or it's a business hotel or it's something special, but it should be appropriate for the community in which it's located, and to me that's a test of our abilities to develop solutions that are responsive to those issues. And so whether it's a hotel that is very much of a standard, and then how do you tweak it and make it fit into that community is really a trick, because all the hotel operators have their own set of standards, and how do you work with those standards to do that? And then we're doing a lot of startup hotel operations, and those are equally as challenging, where you're working with a blank sheet of paper, and what are you going to come up with? And going back to Steve Jobs, I mean, he never believed in focus groups and that kind of thing. He said, I know what you don't know anyway, so how can you help me? I'm so far ahead of you in what my knowledge are. Well, I don't look at it that way. I think clients are extremely important, and they have a good sense of what they're doing. Now, there's certain clients that have a better sense and a better understanding and experience, and some are just there to invest in things, but don't have a sense of style or appropriateness. But most of our clients really have a heck of a sense of what their customer wants and needs, and so we enjoy the process of stretching them with that kind of an issue. Well, I'm really proud of this firm, and my legacy is this firm, but my most proud is that we've passed it to the next generation, and really it's the third generation. I started it, and there was a group of us, the four of us, that came along and ran it for quite a few years, and now the group of six with three leaders, co-leaders, are really doing it, and that's a great legacy to have. Two of them, well, one of them is my son, and I have another son in the business, and that's fun. We're certainly not a family business, but it just happens David is the right person at the right time to be one with Diane and Andy to run the firm. And so that's my legacy, and it's not about me at all. It never was. It's about what we call a constellation of stars. We just had an annual meeting in Boston, and the theme of it is the constellation of stars. And we don't have a star system. We have everybody is a star. It takes all of us to do a project. No one person is the person that everything hinges on. So I'm very comfortable being in the back seat now and watching them and making a few comments, and sometimes they listen and sometimes they don't, and that's okay. And as long as they listen, whether they follow it is their decision, and that's the way it should be. And that's what passing the baton and generational passing is all about, and we've done it with both the leadership and the ownership and everything else. So that's I think something that I'm very proud of, and the fact that we've grown large, very large, is interesting for us because there's no role models out there. There's nobody that's like us, and everybody always asks me, how do you control now 4,700 people? And the answer is really simple. You don't. You hire great people, provide a support system for them, get out of their way, and build a family. And we're a one firm. We all are one family. We just happen to live in 47 cities right now. So it's something I'm really proud of. Well, I guess I could say I love my dogs, and look forward to seeing them when I get home tonight, and they jump in the bed and lick my face, and I think I'm a pretty lucky guy to have them. But I think probably people don't realize how much I care about my kids and my grandkids, and my wife, and they are very, very important to me and my family. I was an only child. My wife is an only child, and we had 4 kids and now 10 grandchildren, and I'm a real sucker for family stuff. So I play very hard and I work very hard, and when I play, it's mostly with my family.